welcome to another session of our bite-sized PG. Today we're going to focus on inquiry walls. My name is Sheena Bifford. I'm the elementary science consultant, and with me today is the great
Jen Perry. I'm the elementary social studies consultant, and we're excited about this topic. This is something we've done in our own classrooms, and we can't wait to share inquiry or wonder walls with you.
All right. So this is an image of the inquiry cycle. It comes from Trevor Mackenzie's collection of inquiry resources. You can find him online and on Twitter. It's an image that's inspired by the Alberta inquiry model. It takes you through a phase of 10 steps. It basically gives you a guide of how to implement an inquiry project. So these 10 steps, obviously you start at step 1 and end at step 10. It'll take you through basically the entire inquiry project. But you want to just know that in an inquiry project, throughout the inquiry cycle, you might revisit some of these phases. Because you might come up with new questions that you then all of a sudden need to have a discussion around and identify new wonders about. So just be cautioned that this is a guide and it is a cycle that you can bounce through back and forth. Yeah.
It's good to have in your back pocket and is the first step to really building an inquiry wall, which we're going to get into next.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a template to guide you for your first inquiry wall. And it's important to know your inquiry wall will meet the needs of you and your students. So there is no one way to build a wall. And we'll show you a few examples as well. But this could be a great template to start your first one.
That's right. Okay, so the main point is to have your big idea, your guiding question that you work around. So in the middle there, you see a spot for you to put that big idea, that concept, that theme, or that guiding question. From there, you branch out to the big rocks. So these are your focuses that you have prioritized in that inquiry cycle. It's those discussion questions that you've highlighted to be the important ones as a group that you want to research and dig into. So from there, you start to research those big rocks. You start to get students involved in that research. You start to do work and you start to do projects and you start to, as a teacher, collect evidence of this. And so coming off of that big rock, you're now going to have samples of student work, quotes of student voice. You might have images of your kiddos working in action in the classroom. You want to think triangulation here: observation, conversation, and product.
So this is really your assessment piece where someone was walking into your classroom, they would see all the great work you were doing and they would be able to see the assessment, and students could speak to what is happening and take that ownership piece.
Yeah, exactly. And your students could even help build this piece. They could go up and pin their work sample onto the board if you give them the go ahead. Maybe they come show you and you're like, that is amazing. Go put it on our inquiry wall right under the big rock that we're researching. Anyhow, so like Jen said, it's assessment. So of course, we're tying this to curriculum. We have outcomes that we're trying to meet. So in yellow there, you'll see that we have a spot for curricular connections. So sometimes not all teachers do this, but sometimes you'll see on your inquiry wall a little snippet of your objectives that you are hitting. So whatever objective specific work samples hit, the teacher can just copy paste that from the program of studies and plop it on the wall. And that just showcases to the kiddos how their work is really bringing that program of studies alive. And then it also really creates a visual for our community, our parent community and our admin and everyone to know exactly what it is we are hitting in this work and in these projects.
Yeah, I think for me, it helped me to be accountable. And the thought of using I can statements is a great way. So taking your curriculum and really breaking it down for students into the I can statements. There's so many great resources. If you need support with that, gladly help you.
Yeah.
Also knowing your curricular connections aren't just focused on, it's not a science project. You are finding connections in all content areas. You got your math outcomes, maybe you're collecting graphs, data, religion. You really want to think of how this project and a good project should hit on multiple outcomes because as elementary teachers, we are generalists. And to meet all of our curriculum connections, we really do need to be aware of where our curriculum can lie in multiple places.
That's right. And inquiry can be really powerful for that. It's a really great opportunity to do some cross-curricular work.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So
one other thing, Sheena, I was thinking about your guiding questions. These guiding questions, although teachers, we will definitely influence and guide them, but they really should be coming from our students. And we did our first PG session, a bite-sized PG session was on really guiding questions. So that might be a good place to start if you're wondering how to build questions from your students, really from your students. So this is your students' inquiry wall. You are a facilitator. So that's just something I think
that's right.
we should highlight.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into some examples. And there's so many great ones out there. These are all hyperlinks, so you can explore them a little bit more. And we have a challenge for you. The first one is a grade 1 one. A next one, a Div 2 sample, is a grade 6. And then this inquiry wall as a storyteller is also a Div 2 project. But you can explore them, find one that speaks to you, and look for some of those concepts. Look for the guiding question or big concepts, the big rocks. Is there curriculum in this inquiry wall? Is there student voice? Can you see that students are involved in process?
That's right. Awesome. Thanks, Jen.
Okay. We have been building our own wonder wall or inquiry wall as well. And our guiding question or concept is, how can we walk alongside elementary teachers? So as you walk into St. Paul, if you ever come to visit us, our board is right outside our office, and it's a project that a lot of people have been contributing to if they find interesting stuff or just resources to share and
that connect to their curriculum.
Yeah.
That showcase how they're walking alongside elementary teachers. So it's a real cross-curricular inquiry wall about how we're really trying to support teachers across the district through multidisciplinary avenues.
Yeah. Some of our big rocks are faith in action, storytelling, and experiential learning, also cross-curricular connections.
Yeah, so next time you're in our hallway, you should stop and take a look at it. See if any of that work up there calls to you. If it does, there's some further questions that come off those big rocks to get us to think a little bit more about those big rocks. For example, for faith in action, in what ways can we live in reciprocity to the land? And then we have some images of student and teacher work that's been happening in our district to kind of give you some examples and ideas of how we're answering that question in Calgary Catholic. There's also, you'll find some QR codes on the board and some little tips and tricks and sheets with information for you to take away so that you can dig into some of these resources if you are interested.
Yes.
And yes, we've also highlighted the curricular connections there. You'll notice that, there's objectives from all different subjects.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about the wall being collaborative and not really, although we have some idea of where it's going, we kind of use that template to guide us. It is collaborative. People have been bringing their own ideas and sharing their own thoughts. And you kind of, as a teacher, have to let go of some of that control and let your students also throw up stuff. It might not be, if you're a bulletin board teacher that has it like perfectly aligned, you might have to let it go a little bit. But we both have felt like this when our students actually are involved in pinning something up on a bulletin board. It changes the dynamic of your classroom.
It really does. And it can also be seen like if you feel like, okay, I need to have a little bit of control. This board is out of control. It's a disaster. It can be a learning opportunity to teach your kids how to sort things. Like, let's find the question that your work actually answers and let's make sure it's in the right spot. So you can turn that into a learning experience too.
Exactly.
Have fun with it.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
So this is a great resource. Making a Wonderwall guide. It's
by Madly Learning. She's fantastic.
Yeah. And she has a great little video as well in there, but just some guide. Some of her concepts are really why you would make one is to get students thinking. It shares their learning throughout the inquiry, keeps ideas, concepts, and questions visible. And you're really interacting and collaborating, as we've mentioned multiple times, with your students and sharing your outcomes, your learning goals, and your assessment criteria.
Yeah, it's really great. Good information, a quick blog post, quick read.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. This, I think, this is from our EPD assessment site. If you haven't checked it out, I suggest you spend a few minutes. There's a lot of content, so just spend a few minutes. But this one is really thinking about it. Your wall is purposeful, right? We have a curriculum to teach, and there's a lot of concepts. So really, your wall, you are connecting to the curriculum. You're finding the curriculum in your project in multiple ways, and just this outcome-based section in EPD has some really great ideas of do's and don'ts, things to share with parents, even just to where to even start, to be really mindful of. You are not assessing your students on how great their piece of art looks on your bulletin board. You're really digging deep into the curriculum and meeting those objectives.
That's right. Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
And then these are just some of our favorite inquiry-based learning influencers that we both personally follow on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, you could check them out. They have some great ideas and some great resources that are linked in a lot of their posts. So that's it for our bite-sized number 2 session. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found 1 or 2 gems that you can take away. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Again, I'm Sheena Biffert, Elementary Science.
Jen Perry, Elementary Social. And this presentation will also be linked in the YouTube video description. So thanks for watching. And we'd love to see photos of your
inquiry walls. Yes, we love it. Okay, bye. Till next time. Bye.